Welcome back. Emmy award-winning host and producer Rick Sanchez has been a leader and a champion for the Latinx community for years. As the first Latinx talent to host his own national newscast, he understands the importance and impact of the Latin voice and presence, and he's furthering that with his new endeavor, Agua Media. And he joins us this morning to tell us all about it. Rick, welcome to the show. How are you?
It's great to be here, Jason. Fantastic. Things are good.
Things are good. Glad to have you here. Agua Media, you are changing the way that the fastest growing business-minded community here in the United States, the Latinx community, engages and consumes content for them that's indicative of their experience. Tell us about it.
Well, obviously, I mean, if you just look at the numbers, Latinos alone in the United States are the third fastest growing economic force in the world, only behind China and India and ahead of the United States itself in terms of the growth potential of a GDP. So the third fastest growing GDP in the world. They are seven if you do it in terms of totality. Something else about Latinos, I think, which is oftentimes misunderstood is everybody thinks we're sitting around watching Univision and Telemundo. We're not. 95% of all Latinos in the United States under the age of 41 speak English. English as their primary language, man. That's so important. We're less than 2% of the people who are seen on news channels, for example, when they have thought leaders on CNN, Fox News, CBS, pick your channel. They generally have not invited us to that game yet. Look at Hollywood, same thing. So as far as content is concerned, we're way behind. Agua Media is going to change that.
And how so? I mean, with all that said, when we go to experience Agua Media, what kind of content will the community experience and engage with?
I'm glad you asked that. One of the biggest and most interesting things about the way that we consume media, because we're so young. Here's another great stat. You're going to love this, Jason. The common age of a Latino in the United States is 11. 11. The common age of a white Anglo-Saxon in the United States is 58.
There's a very big gap there.
So what that means is they don't consume and see the world in the same ways that you would then broadcast or create content for someone who's not a Latino, who's not at common age 11. The average thing that we see, whether it's from Hollywood or from TV or any of these great enterprises, is something that's skewed more toward a 40 or a 50-year-old, and it just doesn't fit. So this wider angle lens, this way of seeing the world, when most Latinos, and by the way, it's not just Latinos, because we call it Latino Plus. I trademarked it. Latino Plus is Latinos who are kind of leading the way because they're the biggest nut, they're the biggest group. But it's African Americans, it's LGBT, it's Indian Americans, it's Arab Americans. It's this youth movement that is essentially driving into the 21st century. And it's the economic force that will be the engine that starts that for the rest of the way for several decades to come. A lot of folks don't see that yet, and some people are actually annoyed by it. They shouldn't be, because it's good for America. We're just remodeling the same thing that so many others have done in the past, and that's this melting pot that we call America, which is a great thing.
The podcast is king now, and that's where Agua Media is going to flex its muscle.
There's no question. Everything is going toward podcast. People want to be connected when they listen to stories. And we are going to be starting on May 17th with 4 podcasts, and we will probably add 3 to 4 more every month after that.
And 3 of those podcasts will be centered around 1, spirituality, 2, sports, and another one that's very entertainment centric, correct?
Yeah, that one's going to be Meet Your Heroes.
Wonderful stuff. We're excited to see everything that Agua Media is dropping on May 17th. Emmy award-winning journalist, businessman, and forward thinker, Rick Sanchez. This is awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jason.